Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment and running it deep? Even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What is going on, guys? Sorry for the technical difficulties there at the start. We're a little bit out of practice, but we are live now every Wednesday night on Going for Two Live Podcast Network on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. I am your host, of course, Jeff Lambert, and you can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Syndicated on all major podcast networks, iTunes, Spotify, you name it. Also streaming the Going for Two app for iOS and Android. If you are on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out. All right, I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Mr. Ryan Searfoss. Ryan, what's up, man?
Oh, glad to actually have a show this week and kind of be back to normal.
Yes, definitely.
Happy to be back, and I'm happy for camp, man.
Yeah, definitely. And this is actually our third attempt at this podcast with our next guest. We've tried it a couple times. I think one time I had the vaccination, and I was knocked out for like 24 hours, and another time I think I lost power. And then last week I had some personal things going on. So this is part 3 of trying to get Gerson on the podcast. Gerson, of course, you can follow him at FantasyGDFS. He's also on the daily fantasy version of this show during the season. What's up, Gerson?
I'm doing good, man. Third time the charm, just like my virginity, you know, that one girl. I'm like, damn, let's do this third time the charm. Yeah. But no, man, I'm excited. I'm like, dude, like, Jeff. How do I get on the big show like Ryan Searfoss? I pronounce his last name wrong all the time, but hey, I'm glad we're here.
Gerson, I'm kind of glad you're here.
Kinda. He said kinda, guys.
Good stuff. Gerson is finally on the podcast, and for those that follow the daily fantasy podcast, Gerson famously built an entire pyramid during one of our shows last year. He's attempting to do that again this year. He's got his 12-pack there in the background. He's already got one beer down. So we have an hour. He's going to finish 12 beers. Let's see if he can do it.
Hopefully. Well, that's going to be a good show. I wasn't told this was going to happen. I've been prepared.
All right, let's go ahead and jump right into news and notes.
News and notes from around the league.
News and notes, of course, is brought to you by the Dynasty Trade Calculator. Everybody hates bad trade offers, right? Ryan just got one right before the show started. No one wants to be that guy. Never make a bad trade offer again with the Dynasty Trade Calculator. Visit goingfor2.com/DTC. Sign up for $15 a year. That's right. All you do is go into goingfor2.com/DTC. Get the best calculator for $15 a year. Stop guessing and start calculating. Ryan, send a tweet to that guy. Make sure he signs up and gets that trade calculator, because that trade he offered you was pretty bogus.
Yeah, he has it. He only uses it when he receives trades to show you it's not fair.
Of course. All right, so real quick on these news and notes. First one we got here, and I got Gerson on the podcast. He's a Raiders fan, so I wanted to get his thoughts on this. But Gruden came out and said he wants to get Henry Ruggs more involved in the offense. And said he looks much better this offseason than he did last offseason. Gerson, is this just smoke, or do you think this is something real?
I think it's smoke, because the Raiders are just going to run the ball like they always do. They'll pass ball because their defense is so shitty, though. But the thing is, to me, is this: they added so they have Brian Edwards, they have Henry Ruggs, and they just added him
John Brown. John Brown.
They got Darren Waller, and Darren Waller, we know he's the king of king in that offense. But to me, is this: that defense is horrible. Well, yeah, they're gonna have to pass the ball. But everybody said what? He's a gadget player last year, right? Well, I thought he was a downfield threat, and I didn't see that much. It shocked me, but Darren Waller is the downfield threat. I mean, he led the league in downfield passing, so it's like impressive, But I don't know, man. Like, it's a smoke for me because I'm a big Brian Edwards fan. I actually think Brian Edwards is better than Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, I like it. I like that call. I've actually been trying to buy Edwards in all my leagues. And Nemo, I see you in the chat there. I've been trying to buy him in our league too, so leave him alone. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this thing with Henry Ruggs? Ryan?
I think Gruden believes that he wants to get him involved. It's just the capability of the team really, in mainly quarterback and offensive line, make that difficult because, like you mentioned, Henry Ruggs is a downfield threat. Obviously, that's what he is. He played last week with a hamstring. He pulled week 3, and obviously that nagged him through the year. And this team doesn't throw the ball that deep very often because of Derek Carr's inability to quarterback. He's just a quick pass machine.
He's a pussy. He's a pussy. Just say it. He's a pussy. That's all he is.
I don't think he has the tool. He doesn't have the tools to do it.
Yeah.
But like Henry Ruggs, in theory, it's a great idea. But as the quarterback situation is, I don't love it. And the other thing is the offensive line is in shambles now. And if you don't have time to drop back and do a 5-7 step drop, guess what? You're not throwing it 40 yards downfield even if you can. So unless they're doing 40 screens a game, I'm buying them best ball only. And in Dynasty, I'm going to make an offer to an upset coach upset player midway through the season for hoping for a better situation in 2023 and hold him on my bench.
Yeah, I'm with you all that as well. I mean, Ryan made a good point there with the offensive line being so bad. They lost, I think, 3 of their starters from last year. And, if you can't drop back 5-7 drops, then you definitely can't get the ball down the field for sure. The next one here is Matt Nagy insists that Andy Dalton is their starter for week 1. Gerson, are you buying this? I mean, he said this now multiple times, that Andy Dalton is the week 1 starter. What has to happen for Justin Fields to get that start, you think?
I'm buying it, but if he wants to keep a job, you better sell it quick, because Andy Dalton, he's a good, I guess we'd call him a, option, like a second quarterback. But dude, if you're gonna build for your future, whether your job is on the line and there's more talented quarterback like Justin Fields, I mean, Jeff knows how much I like Justin Fields. I had him over Trey Lance. I had him over Zach Wilson. Not Trevor Lawrence though, but that's the thing though. Like, just build what you traded up for him. Just start him, And I'm pretty sure Jeff felt the same way about Trey Lance.
Yeah, actually, I wanted Wilson at that pick. I'm happy with the Trey Lance pick because it wasn't Mac Jones, but I did want Wilson at that pick instead. And I think I'm with you on that. I think they traded up to get him. His job is on the line. Put your best options on the field. I mean, are they really going to get that good with Andy Dalton? Ryan, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's just one of those things he's going to do because Matt Nagy has a big ego. Like, that's what it is, an ego with that. And you don't want a rookie to come in and have them that positive the job's there. If you want them to fight for it. I think a lot of it's just coach speak. If he does start, it's going to be week 2 or 3 by the time Fields said, I'm not concerned. You'll come to the realization, oh, this is Andy Dalton. Yeah. Oh, Allen Robinson's not going to come back at this stage. Like, come on now. Let's be real.
Yep, I agree. I think Justin Fields is definitely who's going to be, maybe not week 1. Maybe they give Andy Dalton the first 3 snaps so they can say he started, and then they put they put Wilson in there. So, yeah, for sure. I think Dalton was the sort of stopgap. He was sort of the guy they got before the draft. But once they got Fields there, I think they know who's going to be starting. Yeah. They traded up to get him. There's just no way.
They definitely didn't know they were going to get Fields before the draft. Like, Andy Dalton's a great backup quarterback.
Yep. Exactly. He comes in to fill in. He's not a starter for sure. Not anymore, at least.
He cannot lose you games.
A great backup quarterback, what every quarterback dream of.
Yeah.
You know what? He got his time to shine back in the day. He's old now.
Yeah, he's done. He's done for sure. This next one here kind of hurts my heart a little bit because I like this guy. I still do like him. But Denzel Mims, working with the second team exclusively. He has not had any reps with the first team at all. Even Elijah Moore is starting over him, and I think Keelan Cole is actually starting over him as well, at least in camp. Is this something that you expect to continue, Ryan?
Dude, no, this is stupid. So he hurt his hamstring in October, and there was no timetable to return. They let him heal up. He wasn't fully healthy at the start, so they were kind of reeling him in, going slowly to get him in. It's just a matter of time before he pops in. They're just protecting their players, and I'm sure they know what they have in him, and they want to see what some of these other guys can do. They want to give Jamison Crowder thoughts that he may still be there. Like
He may still be there.
he's a talented wide receiver, and we saw that last year. And I don't care what they said, it shows up. They're actually a decent receiving core now, and it's better with him on the field. Because Elijah Moore's got to play in the slot. Corey Davis is their big body guy on the outside. He stretches the field and does a little bit of everything. It makes sense.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on there too. I think talent's going to win out, I think. What about you, Gerson? I know you were a big Denzel Mims guy. I bought him off of you in one of our leagues, and I had to pay a pretty good price for him. What's your thoughts on this?
I like Denzel Mims. He has the size, he has the speed, he had very long arms and everything. Well, yeah, arms and everything. But the thing I think the reason why they're doing this is what Ryan said. They're just trying to see what's there, because this is a franchise going away from everything they just got over, you know. And they got Zach Wilson. They need to know who his weapons are going to be. They need to know who he's going to throw to, because these are his future weapons. I mean, maybe they don't have an elite one, you know? I mean, I can't say any of these guys are elite. A lot of people have been blowing up Elijah Moore, the whole media, the whole Twitter sphere. Everybody been saying Elijah Moore, oh my gosh, Elijah Moore caught this, Elijah Moore
It's Antonio Brown, dude.
Yeah, like, okay, cool. Yeah, but guess what? We're talking about practice here. We're talking about practice? You know, like Allen Iverson, practice here? You know, like, cool. But in the game, it's a different story, you know? I like Elijah Moore. I had him top 5 dynasty wide receiver, rookie wide receiver. But the thing is, to me, is this. In a game environment, it's different. And I saw Denzel Mims last year when he was actually getting on the field and everything. In that Patriot game, there was so many times he was open. But guess what? He didn't have a quarterback that could throw the football to him.
Yeah.
So with Zach Wilson, and I hate Zach Wilson. Everybody knows this. If you look at any show that I've been on in the past, 3 months, I'm not a big Zach Wilson guy, but he's an upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the coaching staff helps too, because there's no more Adam Gase there, so that was a big detriment to that offense as well. So staying with the Jets here, speaking of Jamison Crowder, he took a 50% pay cut to stay with the Jets. What does that do for his value, Ryan? I know we were all expecting him to get cut. He's taking a pay cut now and staying with the Jets there. Any thoughts on Crowder being any kind of thing in fantasy right now?
This is going to sound bad, because I don't like to be this negative. But that tells me he's washed. Like, if a wide receiver who knows the job's probably not theirs and has the opportunity to go play for another team where he could start and play and maybe get more money, and that team being the Jets, who isn't a contender, he takes a pay cut to stay there, that tells me there's either something wrong, he's washed, or he just wants to get a paycheck and be on a team. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm kind of done with him in fantasy. Unless he'd land somewhere else that seems good. As of now, it seems done.
Yeah,
I don't see where he fits in.
That's an interesting angle too that you mentioned. You know, that he took the 50% pay cut to stay with the Jets. You know what I mean? It's not like he's staying with a contending team. He's not taking a cut to stay with the
Chiefs. That's a different story.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's the Jets. They're not going to be a playoff team for 2 years, 3 years.
Yep.
Let's be real.
Yep. Gerson, what are your thoughts on this thing with Jamison Crowder?
I mean, if you can name the last 3 teams that Jamison Crowder been on, you kind of know who he is, you know. Washington, you know, all these guys. And it is what it is, you know. He knows who he is. And that's why I feel about it. But the same way Ryan does.
Yeah,
he's a poor man's Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, he just want to get that paycheck now because he knows that he doesn't have it anymore. There's just no way.
Get paid. I support it.
Yeah, there you go.
Get paid with minimal work. Love it.
All right, time for
Breakout or fake out.
All right, so before the show, I asked these guys to bring a couple breakouts that they like this year and a couple fake outs. Some guys that have been hyped up that maybe aren't going to be so good. And Gerson, you're the guest, so I'm going to go to you first. Give me one of your breakouts. Let's do breakouts first.
So I'm going to do a quarterback. And I know everybody said that, you got to find that quarterback that's going to be the next Lamar Jackson, the next Patrick Mahomes and all this. But my quarterback's actually a quarterback he kind of been there. 2017 he was a quarterback 9, 2018 he was a quarterback 10, 2019 he was a quarterback 2. And, well, last year he got hurt. But guess what? I'm going right back to the well. I'm going Dak Prescott. I'm all in on him. I love Dak Prescott. That offense is legit. Like, they're going to pass the ball because that defense is not good at all. It's not that much impressive than what it was last year. Yes, they added a cornerback in the draft, but it's not going to be that much more impressive. And with Dak Prescott, with CeeDee Lamb, with Amari Cooper, with Ezekiel Elliott, I like the offensive weapon they have, Michael Gallup and all that. And I think, depends what tight end you said you think. Yeah, that's I like goals too. That's the thing. Like, it depends what tight end you said gonna be that tight end. But I think Dak Prescott, he's gonna have his bounce back year. I mean, the injury was brutal. I watched it on TV and I was sad, dude. Not only because my DFS money went down the shithole, but I was just sad, But it just sucked. But I think Dak Prescott, I mean, he averaged 26.9 points per game when he was healthy, and that's the second highest single season record, second single season mark over Lamar Jackson, who got 27.7. I mean, if he can keep that pace, even kind of neutral or whatnot, I'm gonna have him. And right now in ADP, he's getting drafted, I think, in the 6th or 5th round.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like that.
Yeah, he's my top 4.
Yeah, I think he's in my top 4, top 5 as well. Ryan, who do you have for?
They passed 616 times with Ben DiNucci in there. Like, they're going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with the quarterbacks, and this actually turns out better because I haven't changed this list since a month ago when we made this podcast.
Yeah, three shows ago.
Three shows ago. Like, we get a lot of news in a month. But, I'm sticking with it. I believe in him. There's Tua Tagovailoa. Like, I'm going to start with this camp. I'm going to start with this camp bullshit to get this out. Camp is a time for players to see what they can do, teams to see what they can do. He's going to try in camp to force balls into tight situations, which he may not try. He's going to see what his receivers are. He's going to see he can win in one-on-one situations. There's going to be turnovers. 2 years ago, Patrick Mahomes, same thing. Oh, he had 5 interceptions in practice today.
Yeah.
He had 40 over the course of camp. Guess what? They're taking chances of him seeing he has. That worked out. I'm not saying Tua is that, but you're going to see turnovers in practice against a team with a really good secondary defense. They were a top 10 defense in the league last year. He's not playing against scrubs, and it's going to make him better. He also has a better line this year. They have Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle added. There's a lot of weapons, man. Last year, he was accurate. He had 64% of his passes completed last year. His catchable target rate, which nobody seems to look at, so catchable balls that were 80%, which was 3rd in the NFL. His guys just weren't showing up. He was top 10 in completion percentage when under pressure, and that line's improved. Everything's facing up for him. He's in a good situation. He's going to play positive game scripts. And it's going to let them kind of ease him in, but he could turn into a QB, or high-end QB2, maybe higher. The weapons are there for him to perform. And there's no real running game, so that also helps him.
Yeah, I like it. Definitely like that call. So one of my guys, I didn't bring as many stats as y'all did because I don't want to take up too much of the time here. I want y'all to get your guys in. But one of my guys is pretty low-hanging fruit now. When we did this original show sheet, the trade hadn't happened yet, but the trade did happen. So Russell Gage had over 100 targets last year in 2020. Obviously Julio Jones is now traded. He's pretty much the clear-cut number 2 in that offense. I think Matt Ryan's got 3 straight seasons with over 600 pass attempts. So those balls have to go somewhere. I know everyone's saying, Pitts is there now, but I think those are pass attempts that definitely can feed 3 fancy relevant guys, maybe even 4 on some weeks. So Russell Gage, I think, is going to have a huge season. They may not be a very good team, but they'll be passing the ball a ton, and Gage will be the beneficiary of all those targets. So I like Russell Gage this year for sure. Let's go around and do a fake out, Ryan. Give me one of your fake out players.
I have a combination of 2, and that's the Jags backfield. I think either way you lean is a fake out, whether Travis Etienne or James Robinson, because you're trying to bank on one of these guys being the guy. But in all reality, I think they cannibalize off each other because, one, we don't know what the offense is going to look like. I think Urban Myers doesn't know what the offense is going to look like. He's going to try to do screen pass to tight ends and use LaVisca Chenault out of the backfield and move Etienne in there, and have Etienne work as a receiver. I feel like they don't know what they're going to do, and it caps the ceiling. So you may see Etienne get the the pass attempts, but you're not going to see him in the red zone except for James Robinson's going to get the ball. And Trevor Lawrence can run a little bit, so that's there. This coach speak, you could sometimes make sense out of it, but it doesn't for him. And every time we've seen Urban Meyer, yes, he hasn't been in the NFL, but we've seen what he talks about and what he does, and that's spread the ball around, do a bunch of fakes with no real player dominating the football. And I don't see that happening now. And they're also going to play a lot of negative game scripts because they have a terrible defense, and they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So I don't know if we're going to get consistent value out of them, and it's going to be really hard to predict. Yeah. So redraft-wise, I'm not touching either.
That's funny because I just had a comment come across the wire here. So my rookie draft and my main draft is this Sunday, and the guy who has 101 has been saying it's ETN for him, ETN at the 101, and I think you just talked him off of it because he just sent a message saying it's Najee Harris for him now at 101. So you just convinced him that to not take ETN.
You're welcome. I'm glad I helped one person in my life today.
Gerson, real quick, I want to ask you a question that we had in the chat here. It's from our friend Alex Pickus. He's mentioning Gabe Davis and your thoughts on Gabe Davis with obviously Beasley there, Diggs there, and Sanders all being there. Is Davis still a guy you want to own in that Buffalo offense?
And Sanders.
Yeah, and Sanders. Diggs, Beasley, Diggs, and Sanders all there.
I understand Gabe Davis breakout. He was good last year. Yeah, sure. But I always say opportunity matters, usage matters, target matters, And Josh Allen's he's a freaking beast. He can run and he can do everything. But the way I put it is this: target is what's going to matter the most. And if I'm going to get him to get 60 targets, 80 targets maybe, okay, cool. But is he a breakout this year? No, not for me. I think he'd maybe a wide receiver 4, wide receiver 3 fringe, But to me, I'm not I'm not gonna reach for him. I honestly think his profile, if you look at player profile and everything, all his basically, numbers, it's a good number, yeah. But for me, I'm not reaching for him. I think right now in Dynasty, everybody's trying to find that gem every year. And yeah, last year he did good, but I'm out on him, to be honest with you. I'm out on him. I was high on him last year, but with that wide receiver,
yeah,
no, I'm good.
It's definitely tough, and a lot of his value was tied to touchdowns. I think up until the very last week, or the last week of fantasy, that game when they had a huge game with Diggs and Josh Allen. He actually led that team in touchdowns. Gabe Davis did, and then Diggs had a huge game, and of course surpassed him by 1 touchdown. But for most of the season, he was the leader in touchdowns on that team, and that's where all his value was tied to, his touchdowns. And if he doesn't continue that rate of touchdowns, he won't be nearly as good as he was the year before. All right, Gerson, give us your fake out player. You got a fake out player for us?
So I just want to clarify, when I said wow about Tua Tagovailoa, it's because I was actually high on him. I like Tua. A lot of people don't like Tua. So, Ryan, I'm on board. So when I said wow, it's not because I was dissing on that. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Not unfazed.
My fakeout is Chase Edmonds because Chase Edmonds has been in that backfield for 3 years now. So it's 3. I believe it's 3 years.
Yeah,
Right?
this will be
3 years.
Yep.
And then you bring in a washed up running back in James Conner. Okay, so why bring in a washed up running back in James Conner? And the Cardinals could have drafted a running back, you know? Well, something tells me that Cliff doesn't have that much confidence in Chase Edmonds. Yes, he did average 5.1 yards per carry. He did average 4.6 yards per carry last year. But if you bring in James Conner, you sign him to a contract, and we know this, running backs nowadays don't get contracts. If they do, it's because there's a reason they're gonna get used, you know? Yeah. And that's the thing that shocks me. I'm like, oh wow. Please, Jeff or Ryan, tell me, when you got that notification on your phone, because I know both of you guys look at your phone, James Conner signed with the Cardinals, were you pissed? Because you wanted what? Travis Etienne?
Yep.
Najee Harris?
Yep.
Or any other running back that, well, actually, maybe Devontae Williams, yeah, sure. Any of those 3 running backs to go to the Cardinals? Yes, everybody was thinking that. But guess what? When James Conner goes there and then they go and draft, I think it was Collins, the linebacker in the first round.
Yeah, Xavier Collins.
David Collins? Yeah, well, okay, they didn't draft a running back. And then it just kind of shocks you, right? Well, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm out on that backfield. Chase Edmonds, I'm good. I'd rather pay for James Conner at a lot cheaper price than pay for Chase Edmonds at a higher price.
Yep, I like it. He's definitely one of those polarizing guys. You either love Chase Edmonds or you hate Chase Edmonds. I don't think there's any in between. It'll be a year to make or break his career. Are you in or out, Ryan?
I'm in between. I really am in between. Like, he fits the offense much more than James Conner is. Like, James Conner's gonna grind the ball because they were terrible playing with the lead last year. Like, that's what he's there for the red zone carries. But Edmonds is going to be their pass-catching back and do that. And in all reality, as a smaller back, I don't want him to get 200 carries. Like, I want him in that 160 range, 175 range, nothing really more, and then catching some balls. I think he's a solid RB2, but I think he's being overdrafted as a high-end RB2. And you're missing the upside's not there, but he's a solid floor. So I don't like him where he's being drafted, but I don't mind him if he's on my team.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think if he falls a little bit in the draft, I think where he's being drafted ADP wise, no thanks, at least in redraft leagues. But yeah, if he falls a little bit, he definitely has value eventually. Any running back in the league that's going to be playing has some kind of value, but it's tough to call him a breakout this year. So my fake out, I had actually had Gabe Davis on my fake out list, so I already talked about him a little bit. So we'll go to another one that I had, Jalen Reagor. I think he's going to be a fake out this year. People are kind of high on him a little bit. I just don't think the offense is going to be pass heavy enough. Hurts can't support that many pass catchers. I think you got Goddard. It's going to be the number 1 or number 2 option there. You have Devonta Smith would be the other option, and then even the third option might be Miles Sanders. So I don't.
Could be Hurts.
If Ertz is still there, that's a good call. I mean, Ertz. I'm expecting Ertz to not be there anymore, but yeah, it definitely could be Ertz as well, and that pushes him down even further. So I think Reagor this year is a fake out for me. I just don't think Hurts can support that much volume in order to make Reagor a good fantasy option here. All right, let's do one more breakout each. Ryan, I'll go to you first on yours.
So I had 2 down. I'm not going to bring up the one just because Gerson's here, so I don't want to talk about Brian Edwards. I'm going weird here because this is somebody I feel like everybody's really down on now. That's A.J. Dillon. Because we loved A.J. Dillon when we thought that Aaron Jones was leaving. We thought he was going to be their next star running back. But we're not looking at this off. But he's back. His value dropped. Now we're looking at this offense without Aaron Rodgers. They have a really good defense and a young quarterback. What normally protects a young quarterback when they have a good defense? A run game. Packers already ran a lot last year. They ran 443 times last year. And Jamal Williams left with 119 of those carries. So you do that 50-50 split with A.J. Dillon mixed in there. That's 165 carries right there. And if he dips into Aaron Jones because they want to keep him healthy or with a higher run percentage, we're pushing that 200 mark because this team could easily run the ball 500 times.
Yeah.
If Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back. And even if he does, this team's not really built to stretch the field and pass the ball a ton. So there's a lot of upside. He's a monster in the red zone because of his size and his speed combination. So there's a ton of upside, and he's a premier handcuff because if Aaron Jones goes out, he's a RB1. And he's a handcuff who you can play. So he gives you that added value as well. So that's why I'm there on him when he's free.
Yeah, I think he could definitely be a 1-2 punch there. We've seen it before with the Packers go with that 1-2 option, and I think he could definitely be that guy. And he could be the red zone guy, too, for that matter.
Yeah, like we had Alexander Madison for the last 3 years as this premier handcuff, and people are drafting in the 8th round, 9th round. Guess what? He has that kind of upside, except he's probably going to get more carries.
Yeah.
While Aaron Jones is on the field.
Yep, and a much better offense, too, if Rodgers comes back.
Yep.
Yep, agreed. All right, Gerson, give us one more of your breakouts.
Did he just say that A.J. Dillon's a breakout?
Yep.
A breakout could be a RB2, so that's, yeah.
Oh, my Lord. I'm just saying, man, like, if Aaron Rodgers gets traded, you really think
Yeah.
they're going to win the ball?
If they're gonna want to win football games with Jordan Love there, they're gonna run the ball 500 times.
But, you don't think that defense? Do you think that defense can handle offense?
That defense was solid last year. Like they played well. Their secondary was good. They had lockdown.
Wait a minute. Aaron Rodgers controlled that defense.
Right, but still, you're going to try to lean on the defense and run the ball a ton. You're not going to want Jordan Love to sling it.
Yeah, I think I'm with Ryan here. I think that they will run the ball more, and volume is king. Even if it's not great volume, it's still volume.
You don't think Jordan Love can throw 20 interceptions in one game? Okay, all right, good, we're good here. Ryan, I love you, man. I love you.
All right, Gerson, give us a breakout.
My breakout is this guy. I love him. CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is my breakout guy. And I think a lot of people say, like, all right, cool. He was it shocked me last year. He's actually a top 24 wide receiver. He was a wide receiver 2 last year. And, of course, this connects with my quarterback, Dak Prescott. But with Dak Prescott, he's actually a wide receiver 12 when he was with him. And that's why I think CeeDee Lamb, he reminds me so much of DeAndre Hopkins. And that's why I just want to attack it, and just keep going with it. Because CeeDee Lamb, like, if he gets those targets, and like I said, like we said, the Dallas Cowboys defense is not that great. And they're going to have to play to their pace. CeeDee Lamb, his pace was last year with Dak Prescott before he got hurt, it was 86 catches for 1,300 yards.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad, And I always said, and Jeff, like, I know I always argue with you about, like, with rookie wide receivers, their ranking and everything in the draft. Like, we do, like, Dynasty and all that. But I had CeeDee Lamb. So last year, I believe I had number 1, it was Jonathan Taylor. Number 2 was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Number 3, CeeDee Lamb. And I said this, I think CeeDee Lamb is better than Jerry Jeudy. Like, it's not even close. Like, I think CeeDee Lamb is a monster. He reminds me so much of DeAndre Hopkins. I watched the film. I'm not a film guy. I'm just, like, stats, analytic, and all that. Like, I'm not like John Lobb. Like, that guy is amazing. I love that guy. But that guy is like, oh, my goodness. And Matt Hicks, like, they're amazing. But CeeDee Lamb is
not that kind of.
But CeeDee Lamb is my wide receiver that I'm gonna reach for. The guy that I just want him. Like, it's just a breakout wide receiver, and it's hard because, like, every year there's always that one wide receiver that makes that leap. Chris Godwin, and we can keep going and going and going. But, like, CeeDee Lamb has the potential to get there, and that's my opinion.
Yep, I like it. I like it.
What? Could have went bold at all? Like, I felt like A.J. Dillon was bold. CeeDee Lamb, he's a star.
Yes, but
Where do you have him ranked?
CeeDee Lamb in redraft or dynasty?
Redraft.
Oh, well, let me pull my.
How about dynasty? That's fine.
Oh, we just keep talking. I'll find out. Huh?
I just want to see if you're higher than I am.
He's got him at wide receiver 9. I just pulled it up. Dynasty.
Okay, I'm at 7.
You have him at 7?
Yep.
So he likes him more than you.
Huh?
I said he likes you like him more than Gerson does.
I love CeeDee Lamb. Like, I literally thought you started bringing up those stats. I thought you brought my one post on Twitter like 3 months ago. I was trying to find it. Yeah, I love CeeDee Lamb. I'm all on board.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb's a stud for sure. I agree 100%. But yeah, I think he does make that jump into wide receiver 1 category. You know, he was a receiver 2 last year with Andy Dalton as his quarterback. You give him Dak Prescott for a full season, he's going to be a monster this year. I definitely agree with that one. I'll do one more really quick here that I like as my breakout, and then we'll do a quick commercial break. And I'm going to go with, I got 2 left on my list. One of them was Darnell Mooney. I think he'll be a breakout, but the one I want to talk about more so is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Everyone was down on him last year. He became the 101 in rookie draft last year when he got drafted to the Chiefs for most people. And they disappointed. I think that offense was still amazing. Obviously, they just didn't find a way to use him properly. I think this year, with the full off season and everything else that he's going to have, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to surprise everybody. He's going to come out and catch 60, 70 passes maybe out of that backfield. I do think that Edwards-Helaire will be a monster this year. And anybody that sold him, you know, when they were down on him, they're going to regret selling him. I think he's going to be great in that offense for sure. He'll be the number 3 option behind Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. All right, quick commercial break, guys. We're going to do a quick commercial break. Thrive Fantasy is our sponsor. Please use our promo code Armchair to learn more about them. Let's hit the commercial.
Experience a new way to play daily fantasy sports and esports on Thrive Fantasy. Thrive's game concept revolves around player props, which are simple over-unders on player stats. There are contests for traditional sports including the NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, and cricket, as well as esports titles including CSGO, Dota 2, League of Legends, and more coming soon. Here's how to play. Choose your lineup of over-unders for top-tier athletes that have the biggest impact on the game. Each prop has a fantasy point total based on how likely it is to hit. The more points the selection is worth, the riskier it is. Rack up the most points and win a share of the prize pool. Thrive is awarded over $2 million in cash, so come and prop up today.
All right, welcome back. We're here with Ryan and Gerson. We just did some breakouts and fakeouts for the 2021 season. Now I want to get some of our die on this hill players. These are your quote-unquote my guys, is the most the industry calls them, but I'm calling them the guys you will die on this hill for, guys you're going to bat for this year. And Ryan, I'm going to go to you first. Give me your die on this hill player.
I am 100% in on Cam Akers. I'm starting to think he's close to a first-round draft pick for me in redraft this year. And it's just following the tea leaves of what the teams do. We always say this, look what they do. So Cam Akers at the end of the year. So while the Rams are in the playoff hunt, so they're trying to win ball games. And in the playoffs, his carries, 21, 29, 15, 21. Then we get in the playoffs, 28, 18. And he's also catching balls in the process. So, all in there, he's a well-rounded running back. I've been on his bandwagon for the skill set wise all the way through. And then we look at the Rams' offense has always been at its best. McVay's offense is the best. Todd Gurley's catching the football, which we didn't see last year out of that offense or the year before when they struggled. And now you're bringing in Matt Stafford, who every year in his career has had a running back have over 50 catches. Like clockwork, there's a 50 to 75 catch running back. And Cam Akers is going to dominate snaps there because he's the superior back. He could easily catch 50 balls and have 200-plus carries, and that's a ton of volume. and he was uber efficient last year as well. And I'm all in all that. He's 10 touchdown, 200 carry guy.
Yeah.
And I'm down on that hill, man. Like, I'm starting to feel more confident about him than some proven vets. And I don't want to say the names yet because I'm not fully there yet with my projections, but he's going to end up higher than I think I even realize.
Yeah, I love Akers this year as well. And you're right. I mean, the team was trying to win games. If you're trying to win games, the players that are on the field are your best players. And it was him on the field, trying to win games. So I agree 100% that he's definitely...
If they sucked and we're just trying to get him on the field and he played well and they're just moving him there, I'd say there's a chance that they're in the playoff hunt and in the playoffs.
Yep.
That's stakes down. You go to your studs.
Agree, 100%.
Same with J.K. Dobbins. Just throwing it out there. Same situation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Say J.K. Dobbins again, please.
Gerson loves J.K. Dobbins.
Oh, yeah, I do.
All right, Gerson, who is your die on this hill player?
My die on the hill guy is the second guy I love. And Ryan knows it. I love J.K. Dobbins. But there's another running back I love. His name is DeAndre Swift. And yes, I get it. They got a new coach to like to wear a helmet. They got a new coach, kind of crazy. He said he's going to bite kneecaps, They got a new coach. I don't know. Next weekend he can say, you know what? Me and you, Urban Meyer, we're going to go WWE, I don't know what he's going to do next. But the way I put it, in 13 games, and he only started 4 times, he rushed for 114 times for 521 yards and 8 touchdowns. 8 touchdowns is the key. That's pretty impressive for a rookie. But he also chipped in as a receiver, hauling 46 passes for 357 yards and 2 scores. And one of those scores was actually freaking legit for the Red Washington football team. Sorry.
Yeah.
Swift, this guy is talented. Came out of Georgia. We knew who he was. I mean, he's the first running back since a Hall of Famer, Barry Sanders, to rush for 100 yards, 2 times. This guy is legit. Like, honestly, I'm so excited for him. I want to see what he can do. And the thing is, Anthony Lynn is the offensive coordinator. I love Lynn as an offensive coordinator. He has a strong skills to make those running backs look good, Austin Eckler, and you can keep going and going. But the thing that really impressed me is the offensive line they had. We can always say that running backs are talented, but the guy that pushed for them, the guy that blocked for them, is what matters. Taylor Decker, he's coming off a career high overall grade in PFF, 82. And then we have Penei Sewell. They drafted him. And I was shocked. I was shocked. I didn't think I thought they're going to go their lion way, draft a wide receiver.
Wide receiver, yeah.
Yeah, I think we all did. But Penei Sewell, he was graded out to be the best offensive lineman in the whole draft. And then they have Frank, I can't pronounce the last name, Ragnow?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has an 80.3 PFF grade. Yeah, and he's the third best among the centers. But then their guard, that's where the question mark is, and that's where we know that's where you make the money. They pull out and everything, but you give me those position players at offensive line, we can see some potential there. But I'm gonna go all in on DeAndre Swift, and right now he's fallen to the second round in a redraft league for a 12-team league. He's fallen into dynasty. I'm trading for him in dynasty.
Yeah,
if I had to pay up. If I had a top 5 pick in this year's draft, I would give a top 5 pick and I would give a second rounder just to get DeAndre Swift. I don't care.
I'd give 2 firsts. Easy.
Yep.
Anything other than top 3 pick, I'd give 2 firsts.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I don't know.
I like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I'm tired of the narrative Jamal Williams is there and they brought Todd Gurley in for a workout and no, it's DeAndre Swift. They gotta have running backs behind him. The fact that they're getting these guys doesn't mean that they're going to be getting a ton of snaps. It's DeAndre Swift. He had a decent season last year with limited snaps. I think he's going to be involved even more this year. So I love that Swift call for sure. All right, so my die on this hill player has been my die on this hill player for the last 2 years, and I hope that this is the year that it happens. And don't worry, Gerson is not N'Keal Harry. So it's not N'Keal Harry.
That's not how it's going to be.
No, I'm not going to N'Keal Harry anymore. I've given up on him. But this is Irv Smith.
Like
Irv Smith Jr. I'm going with Irv Smith Jr. as a breakout this year. I think, You know, we've seen him slowly progress as tight ends typically do, and he gets more and more involved as the years go on. This is his third year. I think he's gonna have a third year breakout. I think, you know, they have Dalvin Cook. They've got some weapons there. They got Thielen still there. Obviously Just Jefferson's still there as well. But ISJ will fit perfectly in that offense. He stretches the field pretty good for them. He's an athletic freak. And we know Kirk Cousins in his history has loved the tight end position. He made Jordan Reed, one of the best tight ends in the NFL the year that he had Jordan Reed. So I think ISJ is finally his year. I'm going to stake my claim on ISJ, and if it doesn't happen this year, then I'll give up on him. But it's ISJ for me on my die on this hill player. All right, we got a new segment we want to try tonight. I'm calling it the 5 101s. Basically, I'm going to give 5 different categories, maybe not fantasy related, and Ryan and Gerson will give me their 101 for that category. The first one actually is fantasy football related. Ryan, what is your fantasy football pet peeve 101?
When somebody tries to explain to me why the terrible trade is a good trade. Like, they're trying to explain to me why this player who sucked for the past 3 years is now good and going to break out this year. If I wanted the player, I would have made an offer for him. I don't want Antonio Brown, and you don't need to tell me why he's going to be good. Like, oh my God, dude. I know trades I want to do. You're not going to talk me in and out of it, and the harder you push, the more I know you're desperate to get rid of the person. Just stop it.
I like it. Gerson, what is your fantasy football pet peeve 101?
The same thing he just basically said. It's just like when someone tries to explain to you what you hate, what you want, and it's like, oh, hey, this is good trade for you, good trade for me, and you're like, but it's not a good trade for me. What? This big no, and Jeff knows this because like he's seen this in our shadow, like for a dynasty league, and I'm like, wait, what? It doesn't make no sense. But the thing is, I always say this: equal trade, yeah, cool. But what you gotta look at the team. The team. What do they need? What do they want? And it's gotta make sense. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. Gerson, give those cans in the back a little shake there to show that they're all empty. Wait,
I don't want to lose my.
I didn't say crunch it. I just said shake it.
I thought you were doing like a pyramid where they're on top of each other.
I'm trying to.
He was, and then he just crushed it. Well, I guess the crushed one's got to go on top now. You got to put the crushed one on top.
That one's on top. Okay. So what do they want me to do? Like, they want me to drink them or what?
I wanted everybody to see that those cans are actually empty and that you aren't just putting full cans.
Let's go Jazz, baby. Let's go Jazz. Let's go Jazz.
What's up, Jason? All right. All right, let's move on to our next 101. And this time, Gerson, I'm going to go to you first. Give me your 101 Marvel Universe character.
Hulk smash! Hulk! I love the Hulk, man. Hulk is my favorite guy. Like, honestly, actually, it's kind of sad because my favorite Hulk movie is going to shock everybody. The Ed Norton Hulk movie.
I like that movie.
That was my favorite one. Like, honestly, and yeah, I get it. Everybody, like, the Avengers and all that, but I'm like, dude, like, I wish they could have brought it back. I know he wanted. I'm a big Avenger fan, but Incredible Hulk, I love that. Ed Norton. It was best.
Yeah, that's a good one. I forgot to give my 101 fantasy football pet peeve. Mine is any league that has vetoes. If you have a veto in your league, I do not want to be in your league. I don't like vetoes because trades have a tendency to like work themselves out. They may seem one-sided at the time you make the trade, and they end up switching up as the years progress. So I hate vetoes. If you're in a league that does vetoes, get rid of it. Veto the veto because I hate vetoes so much. All right, Ryan, let's go to you. What is your 101 Marvel Universe character?
The original Captain America, Steve Rogers. I can't specify now because we got two, and both are awesome. He had the best scene in any of the movies when he took Mjolnir and pummeled Thanos with it. He's nowhere near as strong as the rest. He's the man, and he leads that team of these dudes who are gods and monsters. Like, it's Cap, easy peasy.
I like it.
What do you mean by the original Steve Rogers? Are you older Jeff?
What? Sam Wilson's Captain America now, man. I'm not disrespecting Sam.
Oh well, I'm not okay. I thought you were saying like you're like 1946. Yeah, you know. I mean,
Oh, like when he was a kid? Nah, we're good.
I hate both of you. All right, my 101 Marvel Universe character is a lot of people's 101, I think, but it's Wolverine. I love Wolverine. I love Wolverine even in the 80s cartoon or 90s cartoon, whatever it was that came on Saturdays. He's been my guy forever. I mean, he's an X-Men, but people don't always know that he was also an Avenger too. And Wolverine he's just a cool cat, and I love everything about Wolverine, and all the movies were great. The comic books are great. Wolverine is my guy.
Also the same age. I mean, he's a cool cat.
Yeah, I did say that, didn't I? That's an old statement there. My bad. All right, let's move on to number 3. The number 3 is your 101 of walk-up music. So if you're in, whatever it is, if you're playing baseball, you're at the pitcher, WWE, whatever it is, your walk-up music. Ryan, what is your 101 walk-up music?
Yeah, I'm sticking with what we had back in high school baseball. Had "Hate Me Now" by Nas and Diddy.
Nice.
Like, old school on that.
Nice, I like it. That's a good one. Gerson, what do you got for your 101 walk-up music?
well, I think you get the point.
Dude, I mean, you need to have butt heads if you're listening to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Can't do it. Right here. But yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's my walk-up music because you just want to kick ass, raise hell, and drink beer.
I love it. Gerson even brought the drop. I love it. All right, I don't know how I'm going to follow that one up, but my walk-up music is DMX, What's My Name? Just the beginning of that song just gets you super hyped up. You're ready to just go to war. And I love that song. I play that song so loud in my car when I was in high school. I love that song. So yeah, DMX, What's My Name is my 101.
Rest in peace, DMX.
Rest in peace, exactly. All right, the 101 childhood cartoons. And I'm going to go to you first this time, Gerson.
Y'all gonna make fun of me for the next two 101 because I know you guys done this. You dissed me on it. Well, I didn't have a childhood very much. I was very aggressive. Hey Arnold was probably my favorite cartoon.
I love Hey Arnold.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite cartoon, and maybe the Rugrat 101.
Rugrats are good too.
102.
Yeah, Rugrats are a good one as well. Ryan, what's your 101 childhood cartoon?
I was literally debating those two shows, and then my memory kicked in, which doesn't happen often. It was Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. That's a good one.
There was not a Saturday morning where I was not up and just hyped for the Turtles.
Nice. I like that. So my 101 is the original Transformer cartoon, not the one that they redid years later, probably in your childhood age, but we have the original one. And then they made it into a movie. That movie was awesome. If you didn't see the cartoon version of Transformers, it was awesome as well. So I owned all the Transformer action figures. I had everything. I had the ones that you would transform into a bigger thing. I had all those. I was a big Transformer fan back in the day.
Did you see the new one that came out, the toy that was voice controlled to transform?
I did not see that one.
Oh, dude, I gotta find that for you. It's amazing. It's like $2,000, but it's so cool.
I'm gonna have to
You'd be like Optimus Fire and it'll shoot rockets. And you can tell it to
That's awesome.
Transform it, which is unreal.
I'm just kind of disappointed right now. I thought Jeff 101 would be when they started making Disney,
black and white Mickey Mouse. I ain't that old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, when I thought out,
Gerson, you're not invited back to the podcast anymore. Too many old jokes.
hey, they're gonna hate.
All right, our last 101 old school video games. Ryan, what you got?
Oh, man. This one's near and dear to my heart. We played it all the way through college, and it's Streets of Rage 2 on Sega Genesis. I mean, you could go through that. It was aggravating. It was just action nonstop. It was so fun. You could play with your buddies. We turned it into a drinking game when we became adults. I love that game. I still play it every once in a while.
Nemo's getting in on the old jokes too on the chat. He just said that I watched cartoons in hieroglyphics.
I love Nemo. I know Nemo.
All right, Gerson, what is your 101 old school video game?
WWE Raw. Like I just watched. I honestly, I when I was young, my parents were like, go play basketball, go do this, go do that. They just trying to keep me out of like the kitchen because I love food. My mom and Jeff knows this. I love food, but my mom cooking is the best. And my mom was just like, get away from me, stop annoying me. And then my dad always like, well, I'm just trying to get home from work. Leave me alone. But me and Jason, we always playing basketball. We always just like joined wrestling. But it always was. If we could play a video game, me and him, Jake, that motherfucker just showed up over here. WWE Raw. That was it.
Nice. I like it.
Dude, I was before WWF. WrestleMania 2000 was my favorite wrestling game.
Oh, I love that game. That WWE 2000, that was a good one.
That was still in WWF. That's old school. I loved it.
Nice. Well, I'm going really old school on this one. I'm going back to
Atari.
the original Nintendo. No, not quite that old. not quite the Atari.
He just delete us. He just be like, "This is asshole."
All right, we were never doing this segment ever again because this has turned into a make fun of Jeff segment. So, Super Mario 3 is my big one. This one was actually hyped up by a movie.
Not that old.
It's original Nintendo. I mean, it's been a while. It's in the 80s.
I grew up on that. That's not that old.
Yeah. Well, this one was hyped up by a...
Like Step.
No, I ain't going back to the Atari. That's too much. But yeah, Super Mario 3 was hyped up by a movie before it even came out. It was in that movie, The Wizard. And, you know, we saw a glimpse of that, and everyone wanted to get that game as soon as it came out. It was super popular. So that's mine. I love all the Mario games, but that's probably my favorite of all of them. All right, that wraps up the 101s, the 5 101s segment. And we're going to do a couple listener questions here. First one we got is from Dan Turner at EagleDanFF on Twitter. He wants to know, what is Devonta Smith's ceiling in year one? Ryan, I'll go to you on this one.
I think his ceiling's a wide receiver 3, and it's going to be like a highly volatile play. Like, he's somebody you're going to throw in the flex position if you're playing a really good team trying to win, because it's going to be really inconsistent. I think we'll see a couple years of that before everything's situated in that offense.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there, too. I think that's a pretty reasonable ceiling for him to hit in that offense. Gerson, this next one's for you. And when we first got this question, it was all the way back because it seemed like an obvious answer to this question. But now with this whole Andy Dalton thing and Jimmy Garoppolo still hasn't been traded yet, so he's still on the team, this actually makes a lot more sense now. So with Trey Lance and Justin Fields being drafted in the first round this year, which of these QBs will be starting first for their respective teams? Either Trey Lance or Justin Fields. Which one do you have starting first?
Well, but I think it actually makes sense, though, because it kind of, I mean, you got, I think that, no, I think Trey Lance is going to start.
Think he's going to start first? Do you think he'll be the first one?
Yeah, because your lover boy, Jimmy G, he sucks. You know, I mean, Jeff, we had a debate like a million times. I'm telling you right now.
It wasn't a debate. It was me agreeing with you and you just agreeing. You just were really hating on him. I said he wasn't that terrible.
No, you couldn't, everybody. Jeff was right. Jeff was right. I honestly think this. I think it's crazy. I'm gonna say it on your show. I think in 3 years, Trey Lance will actually be the best quarterback in this draft.
Okay, I'll take that. I will definitely take that.
Because of the offense he's in.
Yeah, originally I thought Justin Fields would be an easy answer to this question because he would start week 1, and I didn't think Trey Lance was ready to start week 1. But now we're hearing that Justin Fields isn't the starter, quote unquote, and it's supposed to be Andy Dalton, and Trey Lance may be the week 1 starter now. So who knows? But I agree. I think it is Trey Lance. I think he'll be a starter before Justin Fields. I think they want to do this Andy Dalton thing. I don't know why, but I think Lance will be the week 1 starter for sure. I still think Garoppolo ends up traded. I'm still hoping for that. I know it's gotten kind of late into the offseason, but I do think that if they can find a buyer, that they'll still try to move Garoppolo in that huge $28 million contract, which is just ridiculous. All right, let's see. This next one, let's go all the way down to this one here. All right, Ryan, I'm going to give this one to you because it's about your team. Which Ravens rookie receiver makes the biggest impact?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy.
It's Bateman. And I might be falling for can't speak a little bit, but he might make bigger splash than you were expected. And it's not because it was coming from coaches. Marlon Humphrey was talking about him today, essentially roasting him and then slapping him on the ass, telling him good job to an all-pro corner. Like, he's talking about how special he is. And, like, a player like that starts talking about it, it's not really trash. You got to take notice. And they were showing side-by-side videos of him and Sammy Watkins running the same route. And it looked good. I mean, Sammy's a good route runner, but it was so smooth. He's going to lead their team. He might lead the team in receiving yards for the receiver position.
Yeah.
So not just rookies. Like, he might be better than we thought.
Yeah, I actually had him on my list to talk about when we were doing my guys, because he's been one of my guys. I think I drafted him in the league that me and Gerson are in. There's a good chance I'm gonna draft him this weekend in my main dynasty league. I think he can be the number one option in that offense, and I don't think they've had a number one option since he's been there, since Lamar Jackson's been there. So yeah, I think Bateman is definitely a great option there for sure. All right, let's see. Do I have any more questions here? We got one more. Gerson, we'll go to you on this one. This is a pretty. This one we talked about both of these guys, so it's just a matter of which one you like better. Cam Akers versus DeAndre Swift. Of those two guys, which one do you prefer for 2021?
It's tough because both of the guys, I love them. But guess what, guys? Well, a quote pack back here. I don't know how to do it. Hold on. I didn't think I was going to finish it, but guess what? For DeAndre Swift, for Cam Akers, honestly, the guy I think is going to get the most points, that's Cam Akers. Better offense. He's just, damn. This is the way I put it. Cam Akers, better offense, and he has a much more better quarterback now. Matthew Stafford's going to break out. Everybody is always going to be always looking for that quarterback that's going to break out, right? Matthew Stafford's going to be a top 10 quarterback. That's it. And then we got the running back. We just keep going. We got Cooper Kupp. We got Wood. And I don't give a fuck about Higbee, but I wish they had Everett, because I actually think Everett's better than Higbee. But, man, honestly, that offense can drive. And like we all said, yeah, it's a good offense and everything, but Cam Akers and all them, fuck, man. I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to put this thing right here. I hope we can stand. Oh, what up? Cheers, man.
Cheers, Gerson. I drank my beer a long time ago. I don't have any left, so I'm gonna cheers you with my water.
Go ahead. Cheers to Jeff.
Cheers, Jeff.
In 1901. Cheers to Ryan Turcoff. Cheers, Foss.
Gerson is drunk.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
He's drunk. Get him out of here.
It's like the 2019 draft all over again for Nick.
I'm going to go support my Jazz band. Go, Jazz, go.
So we got to do our forgotten player, Gerson. I forgot to remind you. Do you have a forgotten player before I hit this drop?
Hit it.
All right.
Get ready for goingfor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, Gerson. I think you may have forgotten your forgotten fantasy player because you're so drunk you can't remember who you had. But give me your forgotten fantasy player.
Arian Foster. That's the best player of all time.
Who was it? I didn't catch the name.
Arian Foster.
Arian Foster. That's a good one.
Foster.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because everybody always never wanted him. That's it.
Yeah, he won me a championship. I have a special place in my heart for Arian Foster. I picked him up off the waiver wire, if you can believe that, and wrote him to a championship that year that he broke out. So yeah, that's a good one for sure. And Ryan, you said you had one this time. You got a forgotten fantasy player too?
I do, and I'm going with Raven from back in the day. It's probably the only time I've seen this happen. Back in 2008, I don't know if you remember the name LeRon McClain. he was their starting fullback.
Yep.
And he led the team in rushing with 232 carries, 902 yards, and 10 touchdowns from the fullback position. And he caught another 20 balls on top of it. He was a beast. Like there's always been these one-hit wonders, but not a dude who's playing that completely different position.
Yeah,
he was the man. He was 260 pounds and just ran through people.
Yeah,
loved them.
That's crazy. Yeah, playing fullback, that was definitely a position you don't really hear a lot of fancy football players wanting to get. That's for sure.
Never. It's great.
That's awesome. All right, it wraps the podcast up, guys. Let's go around the room. Give us your Twitter handle where we can follow you at. And obviously, Gerson, if you want to mention your Facebook page. So, Gerson, we'll go to you first.
You can find me at the DFS Roundtable on Facebook, and you can find me at the Fantasy G DFS on Twitter. Hey, man. Thank you, Jeff. Third time the charm.
We did it.
Great show.
We did it. Ryan,
we always do the DFS show every Friday. Just tune in.
Yeah, definitely. On Fridays during the season, we do the DFS show. It's a little bit later than normal because Gerson is on a different time frame than us, different time zone, but it's at 10:30 Eastern time. Make sure and check that out during the season. We do a great DFS show, give out some great advice. So definitely a good plug there. Ryan, what you got going on?
Find me here every Wednesday night. Find me over at the NFL Draft Bible. Check out my show there. We're going to be hopping into our projection series very soon. We're going to do full projections for all 32 teams in podcast form. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Probably start that in mid-July, end of July, something like that. So I'm excited for that as well.
Good stuff. All right. As always, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. I don't really have much to plug tonight, but definitely check out the Going for Two Live network of podcasts. We have some great shows over there if you haven't checked out. We got the Dynasty Gambit. We've got the 2-point conversion. We got press coverage. We got Speak on It. We got the Debbie Royale. We got some great shows there. If you haven't checked them out, just go to YouTube, search for Going for Two Live. It should pop up. For Ryan, for Gerson, I'm Jeff, and we'll see you all next week.